So, the first episode of Requiem, we had Sokka on, who was very intertwined with the GDC. And then in the second episode, we had Holy Spackle, who was also pretty entwined, but maybe not as much as Sokka. And then we have you, and you had more of a tangential relationship with the GDC. Can you start with what your history of the GDC was and how you discovered it?
I can, but before I do, I kind of wanted to address something real quick.
Sure.
So there's something that was on my mind. So between the last Requiem for the GDC and this one, you made an announcement about a new partnership you have with Kyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a show on Sundays.
All right. So what the fuck is up with that? And that's not a rhetorical question.
Sure.
Well, it seems like, all right. So the Requiem series was kind of you admitting, or not admitting, you kind of hinting at the fact that you're going to be doing less drama-oriented content, which I think is great, because I think that your political content is fantastic. That's absolutely worth investing.
Thank you.
And so, with that in mind, thinking that you're going to get away from the drama, to hear that you partnered with Kyle seems like a shit move. Right, for a couple of reasons. Sure. The first is I wanted to come into the hang and have it be less about Steve and more about my experience and like everything before that. And then in talking about Steve, painting him in a neutral to good light. Like, so in other words, this not being an anti-Steve show was the goal, right?
Sure.
Doing it on a platform that has a partnership with Kyle kind of is incongruent with the goal of not having the drama, right? So I'm just curious. And by the way, for the people that are watching, Ethan and I have discussed this, because when I had a problem with it initially, the first thing I did is talk to Ethan.
Sure.
And in that discussion...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in that discussion, Ethan gave permission for us to have the discussion publicly. And I think that it's important for people to see Ethan catching shit, because if he handles it tonight like he handled it on the phone with me, I think that people are going to be impressed. So I gave you the phone call. I asked you what's going on with the Kyle show. Do you remember what you told me?
I do.
Okay.
I think there's a couple of different things. I think a lot of people are mistaken about my partnership with Kyle. And I think a lot of people are mistaken about my view of this series and Steve. In a perfect world, Steve would be one of the people that I interviewed for Requiem at the GDC. I would love Steve to come on here and sit here for however long he wanted and talk about his side of the GDC. I think that would be fantastic. He would never do it, but I would love that. That's A. B, Discuss isn't about Steve. It's about a project Kyle and I are working on. We did a show the other night. I think we talked about Steve for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we talked about cancel culture for like an hour and a half. My partnership with Kyle, Steve's going to come up. I mean, they were co-hosts. Like, it's going to happen, but that's not the point of the show that I have with Kyle. Kyle and I like creating together. His creative style inspires me, and I'd like to think that my creative style inspires him. And so it's a natural partnership that would have happened, hopefully, absent of Steve. Whether Steve was a figure in the community or was not, I still think that Kyle and I would want to partner up together and create content together, because we just have fun doing so, and we work together really, really well.